Hi, I'm Carrie Crenshaw. I work at Barnado Lounge in Omaha, Nebraska, and today I am going to be walking you through and making my cocktail called the 5-6 Punch for Uncle Near's 1856 whiskey. My inspiration for this cocktail comes from both my passion for whiskey and also like my personal identification with the brand. I'm a relatively new bartender, and I've historically been told that as a kid I was really outgoing and gregarious in the life of the party, and I went through about 20 to 25 years of being really quiet and mousy and not being social and burying myself in work. And it was through the discovery of whiskey and the bar world and boxing that I feel like I overcame a lot of my childhood issues and found out who I was. This really bright and bouncy person who's excited about alcohol and never wants to stop talking to people. And I connected that story to Uncle Nearest because I'd been to Jack Daniel's a while ago, and when I was there, he was everywhere and people knew about him and they were talking about him, and I didn't realize that no one else was aware of this history. I mean, I certainly hadn't been aware. And then I started reading about Fawn Weaver and how she kind of had the same experience and discovered this buried history of Nearest Green, and she felt a passion and took it upon herself to give life back to this man and what he did. And so to me, it's kind of like this full circle of creating something beautiful and being this force and this powerhouse. And even if it gets lost or gets buried and you can't see it and it's not obvious, it's always still there, and it just takes that inspiration and that perseverance and that passion to bring it back. So my cocktail is a clarified milk punch that plays on both of those concepts. So if anyone's played with a clarified punch before, it deceptively looks like water, but you can have some fantastically complex ingredients behind it. And it just takes a little bit of faith, and you sip that and you see, oh man, there's a lot going on. But if you just look at the surface, it's very quiet and it's very unassuming, but there's a lot behind the scenes. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start making the cocktail for you. I'm going to start with the most important ingredient of all, the Uncle Nearest 1856. And I'm using this whiskey just, it's amazing, but those really deep, woodsy, ashy, oaky, like cherry caramel notes lend themselves very well to sherry, which is going to be my next ingredient. So I'm going to do a full 2 ounces because everything tastes better with a lot of whiskey. And then I'm gonna add, I make an in-house orange cinnamon-fennel syrup. I use it in my bar a lot, but it's something that I used to use in a lot of homemade apple cider punches. And I'm gonna go with a 1/2 ounce of this. And this will give it a nice rich viscosity, also a little bit of spice, and just invite those fall flavors. I'm gonna go with a little bit of orange juice, about 0.33, so 1/3 of an ounce. And I want a little bit of acidity, a little bit of brightness, but not too much. Where I'm actually gonna derive most of my acidity in this cocktail is from a dry sherry, and I'm going to use Lustau Amontillado. A part of this is because I used to live in Spain, I used to speak Spanish, and I am obsessed with sherry, so this ties a lot into my personal journey too. And who doesn't want to drink sherry? Everyone should. And I'm gonna go with a very, very even 1/2 ounce of sherry. Now, what I'm going to do is make a live version of this cocktail. The clarification process takes about a day, so I'm going to explain how I do it. But for this demonstration, I'd already made one in advance. My secret final ingredient is a little bit of saline solution, just because it turns out a part of my charming personality is that I'm a little salty too. So, and then we'll give it a good shake. All right, so what I'm actually gonna do now is I'm gonna serve both cocktails at the same time. So this is the unfinished version, which is delicious to enjoy on its own, but if you have the time to prepare it fully, I'm going to pour this clarified punch over ice too. And I'll leave the instructions for both in the details below, so you can choose which you like. garnish both of them with a dehydrated orange peel. And they're both fantastic. The finalized clarified version of the 5-6 punch is actually a very simple process. All you do is combine all of your ingredients together, and you don't necessarily need to shake the cocktail for service like I did. You just need to combine your base spirit, your citrus, your sweetener, any bittering components, and then you pour that liquid into a ratio of whole milk. Whether it's all natural, non-homogenized, vitamin D, it doesn't really matter. But basically you want to slowly pour that cocktail into the milk. What's going to happen is the pH in the milk, it's going to start curdling and solidifying, and it will pull all of the particulate in the cocktail that normally would go bad, and over time would flatten the cocktail, you know, it would turn sour, rancid. This clarification process, in addition to actually stripping its color and giving it this look of, you know, you can't tell there's even citrus in it, it will also preserve it. So I could keep this in my fridge bottled for several months and enjoy a very convenient yet delicious fully crafted cocktail. And again, I'll leave all the instructions in the details below. But these are the two versions of the 5-6 punch. But I think the clarified version is the one that will really knock you out. So thank you to Uncle Nearest for giving me this opportunity, and enjoy. Cheers.